Happy Friday, everybody. Hello, hello. Come on in, everyone. I am so glad you guys are here. It is a tough night tonight. There is a lot going on in this country. There is a lot of weather across the country. I know Little Rock got some really nasty weather today. I know some other places, Ohio was getting some stuff. Indiana was getting it. Lori, I hope you are staying safe where you are. If you guys are having weather tonight, don't be sitting here with me. If you need to go and be in your safe spot, please do so. And for those of you who are having terrible weather, I'm with you. I understand, and I hope everything is okay. So stay safe. Hello, everybody. How are you guys all doing tonight? Let's see who is here. I did have to do this a little later than I had planned to do because of the wind. We've had high winds all day today. And so I pushed my live off to this time because the weather app on my phone was telling me that the wind would start dying down, and our electricity has been flickering on and off all day. So I knew that there was a possibility I could go live and then it would flicker and then I'd have to reset everything. So I just decided to make it a little bit later. Annie, I feel for you. I understand when they cross and it's hard. And I'm so glad you're here. And I'm so proud of your 72 pounds weight loss. Woo! Way to go. Hi, Sandy. Glad you are here. Yes. Rosie is here somewhere. Hi, Rosie. We understand about those fur babies. They are part of our family. Diamond Girl Joan, hi. Yes, they do. The other animals miss them too. They really do. Yes, they do. Sort of long log cabin blanket. Okay, well, it'll be interesting to see it. Mary, hello. Good to see you tonight. Judy in Michigan is here. Good to see you. Frozen, hello. Lorna's here. Oh, that's good. See, Annie was without power for a while, and I know some of the others here have been dealing with power outages too. Bree, hello. I'm glad you're here. Let's see, what did I miss any? Yes, prayers for safety for everyone in the path of the storms. Absolutely. You know what? If you don't want to stop, don't stop. This is what I was saying. If y'all want to finish the book, it's okay to finish it. And Marcia's here. Hi, Marcia. Big storm moving into Toledo, Ohio. Okay. I know Ryan Hall, y'all, was on and he was covering these storms today. So, everyone, just be very, very careful, please. Oh, nothing but love. How are you? Hi, hon. I haven't seen you in so long. It's so good to see you. I'm glad you're here. Tammy's here. Hi, Tammy. How are you today, hon? I know you've been getting your treatments again, and we're sending lots of healing love to you, Tammy. Lots of healing love for your treatments. So glad to hear your good fortune, though, on your treatments, Annie. So good to hear that. Oh, those polls. I know. Isn't it awful? It is just terrible. She's feeling good, y'all. She's feeling good. Awesome. Okay. I have my New Orleans cup, but I'm going to show you guys I got a new cup, and I'm going to be using my new cup on Tuesday. Cheers, Chels. I did want to report to you that both Carrie and Sailor are feeling better. So those of you who were praying for them, thank you so very much. They are doing better. I love you, honey. Maribel. Maribel is here. I remembered to say it right this time. I also have my, I'm double fisting tonight because I have my fiber Floozie crafts cup that Amber made for me, and in this one I have Sprite. I do have some things to show you guys, like I said, here after a while. It says I'm having a cut a bee day. Back off. Okay, is that what it says? A cut a bitch day and back off? So you got scissors in your hand. That's funny. I like that. Yeah, do they need a bag? Annie, do you know the bag thing? Do y'all remember the bag thing? How many of you know about they need a bag? We may have to revisit the bag thing. I am working on the marled knit scarf tonight. And I have decided that the marled knit scarf, I'm going to make it a little longer, and it's going to be I'm hoping to make it look like, the headbands where it's got the twist in the middle. It's got, it comes together in the middle and it's cinched. That's what I'm thinking we're going to do with this one. The Jacob's Ladder blanket, you finished it. Oh. The fabulous Floozies. I like it. I like it. Fabulous Floozies. Jacob's Ladder blanket. You posted a video. Okay. I need to get caught up because I'm actually behind. Now you're fabulous, Sandy. Okay. Thank you all who are lurking. I really want to say thank you to you for being here, and hello to you all as well. You know I love my lurkers as well. So glad you are here. All right. How many of you know about Jared, the subway guy? How many of you have looked this up since you saw that I was going to talk about it? Put a 1 in the chat if you actually said, what is she talking about? And Googled it because you didn't know either. Put a 1 in the chat if you were that person. Proud to be a Floozie. Doesn't know details. Okay. Following it for years. Awesome. For a long time. Hello, Sean. Glad you are here. So, okay. I'm trying to decide. Let me bring in my hands, and then we are going to talk about this. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Ta-da. Everything looks really clear tonight. Let's hope it stays that way, right? Oh, you know what, y'all? I should be using a NYX color. No, we'll go with this. We'll go with it. So I'm trying to decide if I should be upset with Subway over this, whether it would make me not want a Subway sandwich. But probably not, because there was another thing about Subway. I don't know if you guys remember this, but a couple years ago, there was an issue with Subway where they got in trouble because, and I don't remember the gal's name, there was a woman who had a vlog or something like that, and she found out that Subway was putting the same material that they used to make yoga mats, and they were putting it in their bread. So, and you know what? I still went back to eating Subway sandwiches. So, yeah, am I going to change? I don't know if I will. And I feel like I've been living under a rock because how did I not know that Jared the Subway guy was a pedophile? I did not know. Honestly, did not. I knew something had happened. After I started researching this again, it was like, oh, yeah, I remember something about his business partner, that his business partner got in trouble. But how did I not know the things that Jared got convicted of? That's what's strange. So, and the story is way, way, way deeper than just that he's a pedophile. Okay. And it goes even deeper with Russell Taylor, who was his business partner that got arrested. Because after researching, I remembered that. And the stuff that happens with Russell Taylor, you guys, is really, really, really horrible. Okay. It's really horrible. Now, Jared Fogle grew up as a very overweight person. And by middle school, he was bigger than just about anybody at the school. He was nerdy. He was quiet. He had no real friends. He was an outcast. He was born in 1977 in Indianapolis, Indiana. And if you guys are counting, that makes him 46 years old. Hello, Darcia. Hello, Margaret. Hello, anyone else coming in? So he's now 46 years old. And I had trouble finding a current picture of him. There is a picture of him where he is from jail after he was arrested, but I had trouble finding one of him as a 46-year-old. But he never really had a real remarkable look of any kind anyway. Just like a regular guy, which is what everybody always thought of him, that he was a regular guy. Now, even Jared's classmates and people that he knew said that he was shunned by people and that he was not able to make friends and he had nobody to sit with at lunch, that people shunned him at lunch, that, if they sat with him, that would be social suicide. You know how it is in high school. You know how the cliques get. And he said this in his biography. And his biography was called Jared the Subway Guy, Winning Through Losing. Does anybody remember his book? I remembered that he wrote a book about his weight loss stuff. And here is a little bit of trivia for you guys. I need to move my camera over just a little bit, but I'm afraid to touch it because it's going so well right now. I guess y'all can see pretty good. But here's a little bit of trivia. So his book was written with someone named Anthony Bruno. Yeah, we don't talk about Bruno. And Bruno wrote the book Seven. Now, y'all remember the movie Seven? I believe that was, what is his name? The actor. I love him. He's in so many things. He's done a lot of crime-related movies. Um, Gosh, I cannot think of it. Yes, thank you. Morgan Freeman. Yes. So, he wrote that book. The guy who wrote the book with Jared wrote true crime stuff. Getting a message. Anyway, that was in he graduated from high school in 1995 in Indianapolis and from Indiana University in Bloomington in 2000. And he worked for a company called American Trans Air with revenue. In other words, he probably was running the books of some sort for that. I don't know what working in revenue means, but that was his job listing, was working in revenue. In 1999, there was an article that came out about Jared in the Indiana Student Daily Student. And it was written by someone that he was in his dorm with him. And it told how he had lost 245 pounds by walking and eating Subway sandwiches. And the article was called From Thick to Thin. Then the story was picked up by Men's Health, and they had a story about him, and it was called Stupid Diets That Work. So Jared became a celebrity when Subway heard about his story and asked him to do commercials for them. Now, can y'all remember the commercials? I'm sure everybody remembers them. I mean, he did tons and tons and tons of commercials for them. And he began touring all over the country. He was very often in Florida on the Sun Coast, specifically in Sarasota. And now this was in the mid 2000s. And he sat down for an interview with a local radio host named Rochelle Herman. Now, Rochelle's show was about human interest stuff, okay? Sort of like community, helping community. She did the turkey wagon every year, and that was her big event where she helped to feed people at Thanksgiving. And she interviewed Jared, and the interview was set up because at the time he was linked to the American Heart Association. He was doing stuff for them. And the American Heart Association set up that interview. And they had one interview on the radio, and then they had one that came out. They asked him to do one on TV. No, he was not living in Sarasota. He was just there a lot. Now, he was a little bit flirtatious with her, but she thought that he was just trying to be charming. She didn't see it as very alarming or anything because she just thought that was maybe this was a little part of his personality. So at first she did not really, take it wrong when he was flirting with her. And, because he was such a celebrity and because she had children, her children, wanted to meet him, specifically her daughter. So they met, and they took pictures together, her and her daughter and her daughter's friend. and just, regular people meeting a kind of a celebrity. And he was a big time celebrity for them in their eyes. And they took pictures, and she's got those pictures. And then the TV interview was at a local middle school. And they sat down on a couch, and they got positioning themselves in front of the cameras. And he leaned over and he whispers in her ear and says, Middle school girls are so hot." Really? She was frozen when he said this. She had a really hard time conducting his interview because she was trying to figure out if she actually heard what he said. Did he really just say that? Now, after all of this, and he goes on his merry way, making commercials and traveling around the country. And she is so disturbed about this that she starts trying to look into him. She's like, okay, wait. So she Googled him, right? She Googled him, and she says, there has got to be something on this. This is not a guy who says something like that, and there's nothing there. Okay. But she didn't find anything. Not a single thing about him or anybody saying anything about him. She didn't find anything. She did find a reference to the Jared Foundation that he had at that time. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Ooh is right. Ooh is definitely right. Yeah, right. If that was a pickup line, your husband picked up on it and said he was creepy from the very first commercial. Isn't that something? Some people just know. I was not creepy aware at that time, I don't think. I mean, to some degree I probably was, but I think I was busy raising the girls and all that stuff. And here was this just regular guy. I didn't, of course, none of us knew what was going on, right? He had this public persona, and then he had this other. And but no, I don't think I picked up on the creepy at all, because this totally shocked me when I found out about it. I really did not know he had gotten in trouble. So now Rochelle begins to go above and beyond here from this point forward, because she is very stupid. She is very reckless, and she's doing things that she really should not be doing. I mean, really not. Okay. On another interview, he comes back through town, and American Heart Association sets her up with another interview with him. And on this one, when they're off the air, she obtains his phone number because he's kind of interested in her. So she begins to talk to him, and she begins to record him, which of course is illegal. She actually met him in a hotel room because they were talking and talking and talking, but he really wasn't opening up and telling her anything. She knew that nothing she had recorded yet actually was anything anybody could use against him. Nothing had been really said that would get him in a lot of trouble. So she decided to meet him somewhere and lead him on just enough to get him to open up to her so she could catch him, because she is convinced that he's a pedophile by now. Yeah, and that was not good. Meeting him was not good. But she did. And she took like a dictaphone thing, a recorder thing, and she put it in her purse, and she got nothing on it because she was when she got into the room, he had strategically placed, I think he did, placed his luggage in the only chair in the room. So she couldn't sit in the chair. She had to sit on the edge of the bed with him. And he immediately started fondling her and stuff. And she had to back away from him. And he leans over again and he whispers in her ear and says, "Do you know how hot you'd look if you put your hair in pigtails?" Again, with the creepy. But it did not get picked up with her recorder. Hello, Crystal. Glad you're here. So now she really knows, because between all of these things that he is saying, she knows there is something up with this guy. And he's been talking about the kids. It's always about the kids this, the kids that. And it's not all about, I want them all to be healthy and this and that. Somehow it just seems really, really creepy when he talks about the kids. And she knows there's more to it than that. So she meets him in this room, and then when he goes into the restroom, she leaves. She gets out of there. And he calls her. She gets down the road, she's in her car, and he calls her and he says, "Where did you go?" And she says, "Well, one of my kids called and I have to get home. We'll get together some other time." And she continues to make excuses because now he thinks that, there's something here, and now he wants to meet her again. He wants to, and she keeps, making excuses where she can't really meet him. And but he winds up getting really, really busy, and he's doing all of this commercials and all this other stuff, and he's on the road all the time. So they begin to have a phone relationship, a long distance phone relationship, which is great because she's still recording him. And then he starts to tell her some of his proclivities, shall we say. He begins to divulge to her some of his proclivities. And he gets very, very explicit. And you can find, there is a documentary out there. You can hear these things. I'm not playing them for you. I am going to tell you a couple of them just so you understand for context, but I am not going to tell you the things that he said in these either. It's very disturbing. I mean, it is very disturbing. They started talking about all the things that he wanted to try. Okay. So there's a lot of this that when I was researching and listening to her story, it was like, yeah, there's a lot of her leading him on. And you guys, it's difficult because that she has so far has not gone to the police. She's not gone to any authorities whatsoever. And she said it's because she knew that there was nothing there yet. There so far there had not been anything there for her to say, this is what's happening and somebody needs to catch him and do something. She knew that there wasn't enough. So she had to keep going, so to speak. And, it's not anything that if, let's say that a police officer who is a woman was assigned to do this, okay? But it does feel a little bit weird that she was not police. It's just that she had this, I have to do something going on. but it is all just a little strange. Now, this took a lot of toll on her. She had children at the time, and this took a big, big, big toll on her. Her son moved out of the country. When he got older, he moved out of this country. She does not talk much to her daughter because her daughter found one of her journals at one point and was very mad at her over all of it. And it really put a strain on her life. She was telling them at some point that she was having to do work for the FBI, which she did. And she could not tell them anything except there was a bad man. And so they didn't know who to be upset with. They didn't know who to be wary of. So it was really hard on them too. They didn't know who they were supposed to be aware of or leery of. So they were leery of everybody. And the daughter got anxiety really bad. Now, once she did get some evidence, then she went to the FBI. Slow down over there, Serbs. Slow down. Mr. Fiber gave him his green toy because I had started the live. And he's going too fast. This is what happens when he eats too fast. He makes that noise. He's fine. He just has to make a noise. So the FBI tells her that what she did was illegal and she could get in a lot of trouble. And they said, but with what she had, they needed her to keep doing it because they needed to get it. Now they needed to get it on record so that they could catch him. I think the reporter might have been just a little older than him. But I don't know by how much. Now, Russell Taylor was working for the American Heart Association, and he meets Jared at an event, at an American Heart Association event. He offers to write a speech for Jared, and Jared asks him to come and work for him at his foundation. Now, here is what it says about the Jared Foundation. When I looked this up, it said that it came about in 2004 and that it is a nonprofit organization which focuses on raising awareness about childhood obesity through educational programs and tools provided to parents, schools, and community organizations. Oh, heck yeah, Annie, you want takeout? Heck yeah. I love it when Mr. Fiber cooks. Usually means takeout. Although he can really cook, just so y'all know. He made the very best, makes the very, very best French toast. The best I've ever had, ever. So Jared Fogle and Russell Taylor have now paired up with Russell running as the executive at the Jared Foundation, and Jared's traveling all over, and Russell starts traveling with him and they started to feed off of each other. Okay. They were touring, they were promoting a healthy lifestyle while getting deeper and deeper into, and we're going to call it CP, and exploitation and voyeurism. Voyeurism really was Jared's thing. This is the thing that was feeding his growing appetite for young people. And I say young people, mostly young girls, but it was both boys and girls. Hey, Sharon, glad you're here. So Russell Taylor meets Angela Taylor, and he moves in with her and her two girls. And Russell was living in Chicago, okay? And he meets Angela Taylor on Facebook. Now that's the first one I've heard. I guess there's a lot of that happens. But if anybody messages me on Facebook, I usually block them right away. Well, she didn't, okay? They meet on Facebook. They talk for a long time. And Russell was living in Chicago. Well, Chicago was where Jared had his first commercials with Subway, was the Subway in Chicago. And so being that was, you know, his, where he broke out, so to speak, into fame, it makes sense that they met. And then Angela had two girls, and at the time these girls were 10 years old and 13 years old. Now, yes, I'm going to tell y'all, it's fixing to get very ugly. As you can guess, I'm sure you know when I say those ages. So if you guys cannot handle that, I would like for you to go ahead, and I would understand if you have to go and come back in a few minutes. That is absolutely fine. I understand. Or if this is just too much, I understand, you guys. So Russell was a budding photographer and movie maker. He was very interested. He was already doing photography and already was buying equipment, and he had a setup, for all of that. And he was already doing all of that kind of stuff. Russell and Angela got married, and they moved to Indiana, where Jared's from, because, they're now intertwined as business partners, so to speak. He starts to take video of one of the stepdaughters playing softball. So he creates this movie. He's got his own little movie studio thing, and he creates this little movie of her playing softball with her team, her coaches, everything, okay? And at first it wasn't real creepy to them. It was just, yeah, most parents don't go that extra, They just, that's kind of extra, especially for a stepdad and all of those kind of things. So and Angela's personality, their mom, really, really changed once they met and once they got married and they moved into this big house, and they met Jared. Jared was coming over for for to eat with them and stuff like that, and having, family nights at their place and all those kind of things. And and they started to get to go places and to do things. There was a lot of fun, and of course these girls were getting close to, one of them was at least a teenager, and to them all this stuff was really, really fun. And Angela, who used to go to church all the time and was very involved with her girls, just, with their softball and all the things, she really started to be a little different. She started partying, she started drinking, and they started to allow the girls to drink, to allow them to smoke pot. They drank together. They smoked pot together. They had parties together. They allowed the girls to call all their friends over and have parties and drink. I'm sure you know where this is going. Hello, Debbie. Yeah. No, no, no. Oh, no, no, no. Yes, 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 Chelsea. It's exactly where it's going. So it turns out that Russell was filming the girls, filming them while they were showering, while they were changing, while they were sleeping. And I'll tell you, my heart just, looking at the interview with these girls, my heart just broke for them. Their their lives changed so much, and they're never going to get over this ever. It's just terrible because and tonight, by the way, Shad didn't come in, but tonight I'm wearing my necklace that he says no necklace the last time he was here, and I got necklace this time and he's not here. But it's the one from Avon for domestic violence victim awareness. It's purple. It's got purple stuff in here, and it's got purple beads, and it's got a butterfly, and it's got the purple infinity sign and stuff in here. So that's why I'm wearing that tonight. So anyway, I'm going to skip some stuff, okay, and move forward and let you know that here's how it all came together, because I want to spare you from a lot of this, the crud. Russell was arrested in 2015 for possession of CP and production of CP, recording victims without their consent. He was filming his stepdaughters, he was filming their friends. And the thing that brought law enforcement into Russell's world was, sorry, y'all, my allergies. Let me get a drink. There was a state investigator, and he got an Indiana state investigator, and he got a tip from a state trooper. And the state trooper said there was a guy who was sent images of bestiality. And the state investigator brought in a local investigator and asked him to look into it. And that investigator discovered that these images were coming from Russell Taylor. And the person in the images with the animals was his wife, Angela. Now, the speaking of it is not a crime, but the actual transferring images of it is. And that is how they were able to go in and do the search and to take out all of the stuff from Russell Taylor's house. Hey, Farm Gal. Hey, Laura. And when they got in there, I'm fixing to get to that. And when they get into that and they find like, there's like 500 images and thousands of text messages. In the text messages, they found that Russell had sent a image of Angela and no, yeah, he had sent that an image of Angela with an animal to Jared. Now, Jared, at this point, nobody knows that Jared has a problem, right? Because the state investigators were not doing the things that the FBI was doing, so they didn't know there was this like investigation going on, right? So they're looking at it like, we need to check Jared out now, because instead of calling and telling people this or saying anything, or just like ignoring him and staying away from him or distancing him, there's so many things Jared could have done. Jared said, when do I get to pound that? And that remark was over a picture of one of the girl's friends. So now they're going after Jared, because Russell admits that he not only sent that picture, but that he gave Jared a thumb drive full of CP. Full. So that led to a search warrant, which led to Jared's home. Now, also on the day that Jared's house gets raided, now he didn't get arrested the day they raided his house, but he did not get arrested that day. They were still trying to build a case. And on that day, there's a gnat. Rochelle comes forward with all the information. She has waited, and she comes forward with the information that she's got. And she does an interview with a local anchor in Florida and tells her story about Jared. And the years that she spent trying to stop Jared took such a toll on her and her family. She actually wound up with and I was not able to find what this was called, but she has some kind of a disease, and it's called the suicide disease. It's like the most painful thing you can get. I don't know what it's called, but she wound up in a wheelchair with this disease. But she came out on that day and told her story. She did an interview, and you can find that television interview if you look for it. So Jared he pleads guilty. Now they caught him in July, and then by August, and I think this was 2014, he has pled guilty to the possession or distribution of CP and traveling across state lines to have sex with a minor. Now, this happened, well, it happened in more than one place, but where they got him was New York. He was spending $10,000 a year on sex workers. And specifically in New York, he was paying for 14 to 16-year-olds. And somebody was procuring him these. Lori, you doing okay? Okay. Be careful. Stay safe. Is that what Llama Mama Kayla has? Okay, that's where I had heard that before. You want up, Bubby? Come here. Serbs. You want to sit with Mommy? Cerberus. Come here. Come here. You can come up. Cerberus has landed. He got his bone too. Okay. I did not. I'm going to have to look that illness up. So he received, now he could have received up to 50 years from what I understand for what he did, but he got 15 years, and he is serving that time in Englewood, Colorado. Now somehow Englewood, Colorado sounds like a really nice place to go if you were a prisoner, but I have not looked to see what that place is. And he won't be released until 2034. Now, when he is released, he will have to have lifetime supervision. He's going to have to pay two separate fines, $175,000 plus a $50,000 one, and restitution of $1.4 million. Now, this guy at one point was worth billions. Now, you're wondering, he was married twice. His first wife was from 2001 to 2007. And that was when, I don't think it's Renaud's, Annie. You're okay for now? Okay. Well, just be so careful. Everybody be careful. But it was after that, he was getting divorced from his first wife when he met Rochelle, when they had their meeting. Okay, so he was in between wives at that point, right? Then he met his next wife, who was Katie McLaughlin, and they were married from 2010 to 2015, and they have two children. Now, those children were only like 2 or 3 years old. I don't know their exact ages, a girl and a boy. And so they were very, very small when he was put in jail. And Katie did not know what was going on with Jared. She had no idea what he was doing. So here we are again with the whole double life, right? And she came out publicly. She immediately filed for divorce, and then she came out publicly because she had found out that there had been some information that was given to Subway and that they didn't act on it, and she was very upset about that. Now, Subway said they had gotten a complaint, but it didn't have anything to do with any of the victims. And they closed their investigation into it. So they were saying that there was nothing really definite for them to do about it. Now, he had a total of 14 victims in the US, but there were also victims in Thailand that were they couldn't prosecute him for, because they don't keep track of any of that stuff. And it's, the thing with Thailand, there's a lot of stuff that happens there. And I know that I've seen some documentaries on that too, where they're cracking down on it, but they're still a long way from really stopping a lot of that. And of course, this was 20 years ago, 30 years ago. I know. Here we are again, like last week. The girlfriend doesn't know. The wife doesn't know. How do they get away with this stuff? He had this big old house, I guess. Plus, he was being very, very careful. And he had Russell Taylor that was doing the dirty work, literally, for him. Okay, now I do have some updates for you guys. Does anybody have anything to add to this story? At one point, what I did not mention at one point, that the TV, the radio host gal, he even asked her if she would put cameras in her kids' rooms so he could watch them. Terrible. Terrible. Really, really bad. I use a brush to clean off my keyboard. I think it's dust that's coming off my fan. I know. She tried, Rochelle tried to do a sting. Her and the FBI were going to do a sting on Jared. And she had told Jared that her son was having a birthday and she wanted him to come, but his schedule with all of the commercials and all the things and the traveling and stuff that he was doing, they couldn't get him there to have it done. But they got some really good. They got some really damaging stuff on tapes that they did use against him in court. Use a blush brush. Yep, I know it. It is awful. Okay, I don't remember if I told you guys about James Staley. You know that I told you this is the case that was in Wichita Falls that's really close to me. And they moved that case to the Dallas area. And they had the court case there. And I covered this a couple weeks ago here on the channel, right? Yeah, I think they do. To get them out of poverty, they say. Stuff like that. It happens in a lot of countries. Okay, well, he did receive guilty for killing Wilder. Now, they did not go for the death penalty on this one, okay? But he did get guilty. And let me see if I can remember. I don't remember how many years they gave him for it. So give me a moment because I've got to go back and see. Yeah, the one about the 2-year-old boy. I don't know if you were here, Bree. I'm not sure. But they had the same, one of the crime scene investigators that did some work for them on the Alec Murdaugh trial, but did not testify. He was someone who worked on this case. He was sentenced to life in prison without parole. So there's our answer. Okay. It might have been Bree. Yes, life without parole. Yes. Thank you, Chelsea. And then there was some news about, Lori Vallow, Shallow Vallow, is going to be in court next week. Her trial starts on Monday, I believe. They start picking a jury. Oh, I have not. There's a 2-year-old boy in St. Petersburg. Oh, I will have to look. Hold on. Let me put that in my search. I'm seeing something about an alligator, Bree. But let me go back to Lori. So Lori Vallow, the big thing that was going on was they don't want Kay and Larry. Is their name Hitchcock? They don't want them in the court, and they're saying they're not family. And that was there was a hearing that was to determine whether they were going to let them in the court. And I don't think the judge has ruled on this yet. I think they had a hearing, but the judge needs to rule. Oh, I am so mad at Nancy Grace. I can't even. If you like her, that's fine. But I can't. Most everything that I learn about Lori is from the East Idaho News. And they usually have all of the latest information. And there is a timeline, you guys, on East Idaho News. And you really should go and look through this timeline because it's got so much to it. And also, I wanted to let you know that Gigi, and she is Pretty Lies and Alibis, and she has done like a 10 or 15 part series that she's calling a primer for before the court case. And it's really good. And she goes through a lot of information. She's now a reporter for Law and Crime Network. So let me see. I will bet you it's going to be on. It's going to be a little slow because of the weather everywhere, you guys. Okay. I was seeing that, but I wasn't quite sure if that was what the right one, though. Okay. Hello, Kimberly. You like Nate too? Nate is a sweet guy. Um, yeah, there was a last minute hearing about it, and Nate, go over to East Idaho News YouTube channel because Nate talks about. He gives us updates over there quite frequently, but I get a lot of stuff from him. So now we have to wait and see what the court rules, because the whole thing was whether they were considered family or they're not considered family. Now, there was a big information dump this week on the Stephen Smith case. And that's why I'm mad at Nancy Grace. But it's terrible because there were pictures released of Stephen. And now everybody in the world is talking about, and some people are showing these pictures. And I feel really bad for his mom because she's having to go through this. It sucks. But there was a lot of things that came out that are definitely, they're definitely going to be able to put it. There's no question it was a homicide. Let's put it that way. No question at all. And I was right. They were waiting for this whole Alec Murdaugh case to be over so that they could go through and make all of these come out and do things. But the stuff that came out was supposed to be only for certain people were supposed to get this information and only be used in certain ways, and there were agreements made about it, and then it got leaked because of course it's going to. So we're just gonna have to wait and see what happens with all this information. There's nothing in it that I know of that says who is involved. So I know I got my jammies on tonight. I came on late and I got my jammies on and I sat down here and I put my earrings on and I went, I forgot to put my shirt on. I do too. However, do you know when his mom did the GoFundMe, she put on there that she wanted $10,000 in order to get his remains exhumed. It's over 100,000 the GoFundMe. So yes, absolutely, Lori. Get in your safe spot. Absolutely. Okay, you guys. So I will see what I can find out more about the Stephen Smith case and what all of this means. I just want to be sure and not listen to any crap, you know. I don't want people who are speculating on a whole bunch of crap, and I just don't want to do that. So I want to try to make the right I want to make the right give you guys information that I feel safe doing, because I don't want to speculate either. I have my suspicions and I can do that, but I don't want to say things that really aren't true either. So, you guys have a great night. Please be safe. I love y'all. I'll see you on Sunday. Oh, Joy sent me tea. I'm going to try this. This is Rubius almond that she was talking about. I got some more stickers that will go out in my packages. And I got a cup. Guess what I got? Haven't taken it out of the box yet. I got my California cup, so I can do that while we're doing the book club on Tuesday. So be watching. I'll be using that Tuesday. And I may have stuff come in the mail. So I will see you all on Sunday. I love you guys. You guys stay safe. Lots of hugs. Lots of love sent out to you guys. And stay safe out there. And have fun today. Bye, everybody.